God did not create us. This is something I've heard from a lot of different people, and it makes sense when you hear it. How's this guy, magical guy, gonna come down, from heaven, stir up some dirt, put some hocus pocus magic, and boom, you got a human being. Then he says, you know what, I'm gonna go make you a friend. I got you. Give me one of your ribs. All right, okay, let me make woman. Boom, bada bing, bada boom, done. 7 days, everything's good, right? Yes, that sounds pretty far-fetched, but it's also because we don't have any context or perspective to take into account. So what I want you to do, I want you to just close your eyes and just imagine that someone has picked you up from the government and they're driving you in this van that has no windows, and they say they're going to take you to this undisclosed location where you're going to have all the materials you'll ever need to build an operating system that can operate 10,000 times faster than the human brain, that can project 3D images, and it can process process information really quickly. So you're thinking about it. You're going on this ride, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be in this laboratory. They're gonna give me the top scientists. I'm gonna have all these materials available to me, right? And you show up. They open the door and they kick you out in the middle of Zion National Park. Okay, you're looking around. You're looking at these rocks and waterfalls and trees and all this stuff. And as they're driving away, they say, I want you to build a Mac computer. And you're just looking at everything like, are you kidding me? Like, how is that possible? Well, it is possible because we've done it. We didn't start out with all the things that we have today. We didn't start out with this microphone I'm talking on or this computer I record on. We didn't start out with any of it. We built it from literally the elements of the earth, from the minerals in the water, from the minerals in the rocks, from the minerals in the dirt, from the wood in the trees, from the gases within the atmosphere. There's nothing we have built on this earth that didn't come directly from it. So when you put it in that perspective, it makes more sense. Now think about scientists today, what they're building, what they're doing. You have in vitro fertilization, where they can literally create human beings within the womb. You've got people going into outer space. We've got metals that they can't heat up. We biologically engineer plants and animals. Now, this is all coming from the human race, a very just minute species. I mean, we have no magical powers. Even our intellect is limited. I mean, we've come a long way, but we're not that smart. And the only real advantage we have over the rest of all the animals is we have opposable thumbs and we can think. Could you imagine if we had maybe even just a little bit more power than that, a fraction more power, what we could do with the earth materials? We're literally already creating people out of it. So why is it hard to believe that someone or a being like God, that is all-knowing, all-powerful, all great, cannot come down here and whip up a batch of humans out of dirt? It's not that far-fetched. For instance, God comes down and he makes a man from dirt, right? How is that possible? Well, I mean, if you look at Neil deGrasse or any of the major scientists in the world, they say everything's made out of stardust, which is dirt, which is carbon. There's not one life form in the entire universe that is not made of carbon, or one thing, anything for that matter. This table, this microphone, everything's made of carbon, which is stardust, which is dirt. So instead of saying dirt, if you want to say carbon, God came down and created you out of carbon, I mean, maybe that would be more accurate. Maybe you'd get a little better sense of it, but it's very true. Now, well, how does he make a woman out of a rib? I don't see how that, he's going to pull a rib out and make a woman. Well, what's in a rib? Let's think about it. What are we made of? DNA. What's within a rib? DNA. If you extract DNA from an object, you can recreate an object. Oh, well, if you're going to recreate an object, wouldn't you just get two guys? Well, what about chromosomes? Do we not extract chromosomes from DNA to recreate better things or different things? Yes, we do. You remove a couple chromosomes, take some DNA out, boom, you got woman. It's not that hard. There's only a few things that separate us all, and it's a few chromosomes. I mean, it's probably, if we were God, or if we had just even a slightly more advanced intellect, it would probably actually be very, very easy. I mean, almost like Lego sets. Well, you just move this piece over there and you got a car. You move this piece over there and you got a building. It's not that far-fetched. DNA, remove chromosomes, boom, you got this. DNA, make some more chromosomes, you got this. Science almost, it doesn't disprove that God exists, but it does prove that it was a lot easier for him to create us than we really ever thought. And you just got to picture it that way, because if you went back 1,000 years, just 1,000, and you go and you're talking to this knight and he's over here, or whatever we got going on. Maybe it's a knight, maybe you go back 1,000,000 years to Neanderthal, whatever time period you want to go to. And they're over there, they're milling something or grinding some grain, and you tell them, say, hey, look, man, check this out. Check this out. We're going to build a machine that has the power of 400 horses, okay? And it's going to be able to travel long distances with no labor, and it's going to play music to you from a source that's in outer space that sings to you, okay? We're going to build this. I mean, how far-fetched is that? I mean, even if it just showed up, let's say you drop a Ford F-150 in the 1800s, and you drop it right there, and you tell someone that you built it, they're not going to believe you. That's impossible. We tend to believe only as far as we can do. So if we ourselves cannot do it, or we have not seen someone do it, it seems like it's an impossible thing, which is why we stagnate, which is why we can't open our minds to these possibilities that are actually very simple. For us, our greatest creations are computers, Macs, these high processing machines that take information from a source, and these radio waves that are invisible go to that source, and it creates all these crazy thoughts and ideas and all these things on there. Now, take the human brain. What does it have going on? Okay, well, it processes information from some invisible source. Where do we get inspiration? Where do these things come from? Who knows? Maybe it's Wi-Fi in heaven sending it down to our little brains. I mean, aren't we just a glorified computer? We're just computers walking around that can move our arms and legs. Don't we have robots that are almost capable of that? Yeah, they're machines. They're not biological, but we are not that advanced. I mean, 1,000 years from now, we're going to look back at us like we're the 1800s. So when people say, yeah, I don't believe God created us, it's only because they're limiting their own abilities, and they're comparing God to what we're able to do. And some people might say, well, didn't God create us in his image? Absolutely. I created my daughter. She's in my image. She's 8 years old. But she can't do any of the things I can do. You know why? She hasn't matured. She hasn't learned. She hasn't opened her mind. She hasn't done all these things. At some point, will we be able to catch up with the Father? Yeah, if we listen to him, if we follow his word, we're going to be right there beside him, maybe creating human beings. I don't know what we're going to be doing. But the fact is, we are created in his image, and we can create things, but he's just got more time. I mean, he's got everything. He's eternal. He's the Almighty God. He can create things out of dust, out of dirt, out of rocks, out of stone, as can we. When you think about things, or you think about the Bible, I want you to take a step back. I don't want you to look at the things that are impossible, or list all the reasons why it can't happen. When you look at a problem, I want you to think of why it can be possible. Think of everything as why it can be possible. And sometimes you'll disprove it. Sometimes you won't think of a reason that will make something possible. But if you think of why it is possible, you're more than likely going to find reasons why it is possible. And it's going to make the impossible seem possible. Open your minds to everything that's in the world, but keep your heart set on everything that is good, and you will see the impossible become possible. This is Father to Father, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and you can see God's work in everything and everyone around you.